Today, I will be showing you the procedures of how to assemble, disassemble, sanitize, and identify the parts of a slicer. I will also be showing you how to slice cheese on number 3, which is our recommended standard operating slicing procedure recommended to the guests for the thickness of the cheese that they would like. It is important to know the assembly, the disassembly, and identifying the components of the slicer because it helps in the efficient and safety handling of the slicer during service. The components of the slicer that we will be covering today are the baffle plate, adjusting riser, food tray, ramp, adjustment knob, thickness adjustment knob, non-slip feet, and most importantly, the blade. Also, the on and off switch and the power source. It is important to sanitize the slicer after each use for each individual customer to create the type of intimacy that shows that we tailor each product individually to each customer. Sanitizing the slicer is important to prevent bacteria growth, stay up to health code standards, and also prevent cross-contamination of products that are both raw and cooked. Recent outbreaks of foodborne illness cases come from cross-contamination of slicers and food debris that are caked on the slicer that really don't get the attention that they need. And in our 45 years of business, we have never had a foodborne illness outbreak case. And our preventative measures that we use sanitizing the slicer after each use has made this possible. After this training video, you will be capable of identifying the components of the food slicer, being able to properly, efficiently, and safely sanitize the food slicer, disassemble and assemble the food slicer, as well as being able to serve a guest, weigh a product, clean and sanitize the slicer within the duration of 5 minutes elapsed time.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to assemble and use the slicer. First, you'll install the baffle plate. Next, you'll install the food tray. And then load the cheese onto the food tray, or the riser onto the cheese. Make sure to adjust the thickness. And then turn it on. And you just pull the cheese toward you. Now that I've shown you how to assemble and use the slicer, I'll show you how to disassemble it. First, you want to make sure to unplug it and remove the food from the slicer. And take off the food tray, and then you're going to take off the baffle plate. show you how to clean and sanitize the slicer. All right, to start, plug it in first and foremost. And then you're gonna put the baffle plate on. And it just screws in the back. And then you can install the food tray. And that one's also just gonna screw in. Okay, and then you can load the food or the product onto the food tray. We're gonna adjust the thickness to 3. And then we're gonna turn it on. And then to slice, you just pull the tray towards you. Okay. Then when you're all done, just flip the power switch. Before you start disassembling it, make sure you unplug the power cord. And remove all the food from the tray. And then you're going to take off the food plate and you just unscrew it right here. And then the baffle plate. And we'll show you how to clean and sanitize. For safe handling purposes, would you like to show me everything that I just showed you?
So first I would assemble the slicer by putting the baffle plate back on and then screwing in the food plate. After I have everything set up, I would place the product on the food tray and adjust the thickness and then start to slice the product. After I'm done slicing the product, I would unplug the slicer and take apart the food plate and then the baffle plate and then sanitize it.
Great.
What thickness do I put it on for the
3.
customer? 3. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 reasons why it's important to sanitize every part of the slicer. The first reason is cross-contamination, second is exclusive guest service, and the third is health department standards. I'm going to wash the baffle plate, and then rinse it. And sanitize. And then I'll wash the food tray. And rinse it. And sanitize. Unlike the food tray and the baffle plate that can be taken off and cleaned, washed, and sanitized in the 3-compartment sink, I have to wash the blade and the ramp using a sanitized towel. It's also important to keep in mind to unplug the slicer and make sure it's turned off before you start sanitizing. And it's also important to really clean the blade and make sure that the blade is completely sanitized. Just because that's where all the food goes.